What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I am going to be talking about Manchester United's last game that we went and played, Arsenal at the Emirates. So let's just get straight into today's video, guys. So we made 3 changes from the last game against Burnley. Talk about the starting 11. So we started with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Fred, Matic, James, Lingard, Rashford and Martial. Overall reaction, sick and tired of this shit now. It was embarrassing. 2020 starts with a loss. Awful. What a joke. Sort this shit out. I'm very angry with this, and you'll see why in a minute. Inexperienced manager has beaten Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was their FA Cup final. Wrong team selection. Still below us. Not happy with that. I have nothing to say. Now, let's just get straight into today's video, guys. What did I make of the performance? The performance overall was absolutely shocking. It was absolutely abysmal. We played so poorly, we just let them run all around us. Now, what I don't understand is we've beaten Tottenham, City, we've drawn to Liverpool, we've beaten Leicester, we've beaten Chelsea, and all of a sudden we just can't deal with Arsenal's attack. We couldn't defend properly. I just couldn't understand it. We've beaten 2 teams that managed to finish in top 4 last season, and we couldn't beat a team that finished 5th last season. We couldn't even deal with their attack. I'm very angry of how we lost that game, because it was the manner and the attitude in that game where how we lost that game. I was very angry, you know. I'm sick and tired of this shit now, because it's happening week in, week out with these players. Ollie, I love the guy, but the thing is, he makes some good choices and bad choices. In this game, he made some bad choices. And why did he make these bad choices? Because he started the wrong team selection. He decided to play Luke Shaw in this game when he should have played Williams. Williams absolutely ran the show against Burnley. He was attacking, he got us going, and with Luke Shaw, he doesn't get us going. I just have no words to get my words out of how to explain this game, you know. The way how we lost this game was absolutely abysmal. I'm very angry because we couldn't even deal with their high press, and we just sat back. I mean, we only had 5 good minutes in that first half, and that was it. Like, literally 5 good minutes, and that was it. It was a shit, awful, dreadful performance. That's how poor we were against them lot. Us coming into this game, we were 5th. Now, coming into this game, Arsenal were 13th, you know. They knew that they were unlucky to get beat by Chelsea, you know. Frank Lampard, he knew he had to do a masterclass to go and beat Arsenal. He did that. Chelsea won against Arsenal. Arsenal just got unlucky not to win that. They showed some good signs under Mikel Arteta, and we were just awful. Awful. We couldn't even deal with their high press. It was absolutely shocking. And the reason why I'm so angry of how we've lost this is a team who cannot get going this season. This is a team that has lost to Brighton, couldn't beat Palace at home, couldn't beat Southampton at home, yet again. Got into that game with full confidence, a little bit nervous as well, and we've got our pants pulled down by Arsenal. Arsenal are not even great form. We've made Ollie look like an idiot because Mikel Arteta's not even a manager. He's only been at City. He's only been their assistant manager. We have let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer get schooled by Mikel Arteta. I don't know what to say about the whole performance, because the performance on the whole was just dreadful. It was awful. Absolutely awful. The manner and the attitude how we lost that as well, it was just awful. We only had 5 good minutes in that first half, and that was it. Literally nothing else after the 5 minutes. Because then they just were all around us, you know. They wanted it more. We were just not bothered. The players just didn't turn up. The way how we lost this game was absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I'm sick and tired of this shit now, because it's always the same shit every time. We cannot beat lesser teams. Arsenal was pretty much a lesser team for us. They were in the bottom half of the table, and we couldn't beat them. We knew that they were going to go for it. We knew they were going to play Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang, because they had nothing to lose. They had nothing to lose. They've gone out there, made us look like idiots. We've bought Wan-Bissaka for 50 million. Where was he in the game? You know, he made some good tackles, but for both of the goals, he was non-existent. We've bought Victor Lindelof for 39.5 million. We've bought Maguire for 80 million, and we've bought Luke Shaw for 30 million. You know how much that is? 199 £3.5 million we have spent on that defence, and yet we cannot fucking defend. We cannot fucking defend. You might as well just throw Williams in there, and he would have been absolutely better than Luke Shaw. You might as well throw in an academy player that we didn't spend fuck all on. The way we lost that game was absolutely abysmal. First off, we were shocking. We only had 5 good minutes where we just played with aggression, energy, fluidity, urgency, high tempo, high intensity, and then after that they just ripped us apart in that first half. And I mean, the first goal was abysmal, the way how we defended for that, and then the second goal, Maguire and Lindelof are ball watching. I couldn't believe it. And when you're ball watching, it's just, you're thinking, what are you doing? Go after the ball. And then second half, I thought we were a little bit better, but we couldn't break them down. We were too slow on the attack in the second half. I mean, Matic might have a little bit more better in terms of holding up the ball. Still, in the second half, we couldn't find a way past Arsenal. Arsenal just cannot get going this season. They've had 3 managers in charge. They've got Unai Emery, more like Dick Emery, and then you've got Freddie Ljungberg, who had no coaches, still was getting beat by the likes of Brighton at home, couldn't beat Southampton at home, couldn't beat Palace at home, and then you've got Mikel Arteta, who's come into the job, and he's bloody pulled Ollie's pants down, and the players as well. It's not good enough. Second half, we were abysmal. We still couldn't get going, and there was no high press. Literally, no high press. We were fucking too slow on the attack. What went wrong? Everything for me just went wrong. I think he started the wrong team selection. Not all of it was wrong. I think he shouldn't have played Lingard. We're paying a bleeding YouTuber that's got like over 300k subscribers. We've got the likes of Greenwood, who loves to have a great time. He could have taken over James's position, and then Williams could have started for Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw was absolutely abysmal. He was shite in that game. Not good enough. There was literally no creativity in the game. There was just no passion, no pride, no fight, no character, no desire, no spirit. Not playing for the club, not playing for the badge. There was just literally no plan. There was no plan B or anything like that. Not good enough. The defence was appalling. The way I would defended for the first goal and the second goal was absolutely appalling. The midfield, you've got Lingard, Matic and Fred, literally just no creativity whatsoever. We're playing bloody Lingard, who was milli rocking and moonwalking. It's just not good enough. And the attack, we just couldn't really find anything out of James, Rashford and Martial. We were not good enough. And we really struggled creativity-wise, and we were just not good enough. Tactically, we were a mess, and we're just constantly inconsistent, and we're never going to learn. We're just not good enough. Absolutely weren't good enough. Why did we play so poor? The reason why we played so poor was because there was just no desire in that game, and we just didn't have that real intent that we really wanted it. Players didn't turn up when you really wanted them to turn up. We knew that this was going to be a big game, because obviously Arsenal needed to get themselves out of jail after getting beat by Chelsea. And you know what really pisses me off as well is the way how we've lost this game. But not only just that, the fact that we've lost to a team that are pretty much in a relegation scrap. They were literally about 5 points from the bottom. They've gone on to winning that game. It's not good enough. We've let a team that are in a relegation scrap go and beat us. It's not good enough. Everyone was pretty much predicting United was going to win this game, and it's not good enough from these players. And we need to start bringing in signings, because the way how we're going to go right now to the end of the season, it's not in our favour. We could finish bloody mid-table if we don't get our act together. This is why we need to start beating the lesser teams as well. It's not good enough. How do we get ourselves out of this mess? The first thing how we get ourselves out of this mess is being more bloody consistent if we can. I mean, the passing was poor. I mean, we were so sloppy. I felt like Matic was the one that was just in the first half that kept on giving away possession. So we'd have the ball, and then all of a sudden we lose the ball. But then sometimes he would give the ball away, but then he'll go work and get that ball back. Really, the second balls were awful. We couldn't really battle for them. The way how we're going to get ourselves out of this mess is being more consistent. We need to start working a bit more harder in training. They keep saying we're improving. We're not improving. Show me that improvement that we're improving. It's still not good enough. When are we going to start learning to be more consistent? We need to start being more consistent now, because if we're not going to be more consistent from now to the end of the season. Most of all these top 6 teams who we've got to face are away from home. We've got Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Leicester away, and we can't even travel well. When we can't travel well, we could easily lose these games. We've got Liverpool coming up soon. They could absolutely batter us. Most of these games now in the top 6, we've got to go away. We cannot travel well, and we cannot beat teams away from home. So that's where we need now big performances, big results, and we need everything out of the defence, midfield and the attack. And the tactic is when you play this out the back thing as well, you've got to be quick with it, and that's why you sit back deep and then you get on the attack. It's not always going to work. That's why you've got to run your bloody absolute socks off, and we didn't. We let them beat us and we look like mugs after getting beat. I'm not happy. The way how we lost that game, it was awful. Who stood out in the game? Not many players stood out in the game for me. I think the only one that really stood out the game for me was probably Fred. That's all, to be fair. Also, what pisses me off of how we've lost this game is the fact that Arsenal cannot keep a clean sheet as well. When you look at their past results, they got beat by Chelsea 2-1, they couldn't beat Southampton at home, that was 2-2. Couldn't beat Palace, that was 2-2. Beat West Ham 3-1, so they still can't even get any clean sheets. They've got a clean sheet against us. That's how really poor we were as well. You know, we just let them get a clean sheet like that. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Getting into the stats now, the possession-wise for Arsenal was 48.8%, and for Man United it was 51.2%. So really, the only good thing we're good at was the possession. Goals-wise for Arsenal, they had scored 2 and we had scored none. Total shots, Arsenal had 10 shots and United had 10 shots. Shots on target, Arsenal had 4, United had 4. So same amount of shots and shots on target, yet they take 2 of their opportunities and score on them. Shot accuracy for Arsenal, it was 40%, and for Man United it was 40% as well. Shots inside the box for Arsenal it was 8, and for Man United it was 5. Shots outside the box, Arsenal had 2 and United had 5. Total passes for Arsenal it was 513, and for United it was 542. Pass accuracy for Arsenal was 84.8%, and for Man United it was 85.2%. Getting into the substitutions now, Lingard went off for Pereira. Talk about Lingard's performance. Lucky to have started ahead of Andres Pereira, and the decision backfired badly. Poor again at number 10. Lucky to have stayed on beyond the interval. And that's the thing as well, we should have changed things up at half time, to be fair. And I think if we would have made changes at half time, I think we would have probably scored a goal. At least a goal as well. James went off for green. We'll talk about Dan's performance. Offered no end product despite getting into threatening positions. Replaced Dilly in the second half for the second time in as many weeks. Matic went off for Mata. Talk about Manya's performance. His selection was dubious against the most attack-minded Arsenal attack since Arsene Wenger left. One paced and risk aversive. Onwards and upwards. Next up we have got Norwich. Now Norwich 20th in the table. For me, Norwich have suddenly, they've looked back where they are in the table and they've gone, right, we need to put in some more performances and get some good results out of these games. And what I mean by that, you know, they've actually not done as bad as you think, because, you know, they drew to Leicester and Tottenham and they're showing some good signs now. But still, we've played them already this season at their place. I thought it was going to be a tough place to go to Carrow Road, but they were poor that day. Norwich so far, they've scored 22 goals and conceded 41 goals this season. Norwich have conceded the most goals so far this season, and that's 41. So you can see that in the stats right now. Defensively, they're not good enough. Daniel Farke, or however you say his name, he's got a lot of things to turn things around. Like I just said, just recently they've drawn to Leicester 1-1 and Tottenham 2-2. I think for me they've just upped the ante a little bit now, Norwich. I think they've started to realise that we need to put in better performances in, better shifts in. We need to put in better performances in and get a good result out of these games. But so far they've been only scoring 1 goal a game and conceding 2 goals a game. You can really see that in the data and also in the stats with Norwich so far this season. For me, Norwich, obviously newly promoted side, they're struggling, the 20th. They may have some great players, some fantastic players in there, but it's still struggling to really find their form. It's not always going to come clicking for you as well, because you've got the likes of Villa that are struggling at the minute. The only team that are doing well that have come up and done so well and the newly promoted sides. And you've got Sheffield that are doing well recently, sat in 8th place. Norwich, I expect them to come out. I expect them, it's a good away day to Old Trafford. Norwich will be up for it, I reckon. I think they'll be mentally, physically ready for this test. They'll be ready to give United a good game, obviously, because it's at Old Trafford. It's a good away day, not only just for the players, but also for the fans. So I think they'll try and put on a good game, a good performance, because they're away from home. So I think for Norwich, I think they'll be fighting from minute 1 from minute 90. I think for us, we've got to make sure we have to beat Norwich, because if we don't beat Norwich, then there's serious problems with us at the minute. Then there'll be more questions to be asked. But we've got to make sure we beat Norwich, and these are teams that we should be beating, especially as well, to get ourselves up into that table and to start battling for that top 4. And I mean, you've got all the teams around us that are dropping points. We're also dropping points and we're just not capitalising. Chelsea dropped 2 points against Brighton. Sheffield lost, and I think Wolves had lost, and then that's a great opportunity for us to feel confident going into Arsenal and to go and beat them. This league is so shit as well. Other teams around us are dropping points and we're just not capitalising. It comes in good favours for us, and then we just go and bottle it on the day, and we just can't turn up for these games. But I think for the one against Norwich, we've got to be mentally, physically prepared. They'll give us a good game from minute 1 to minute 90. You know, they're away from home, so they'll try and give the fans something as well. So teams like Norwich, we have got to be beating them without a doubt. Norwich, we beat them earlier on this season, 3-1. It's a shame that we couldn't really keep a clean sheet against them lot, because I felt like, you know, we did get robbed in that game as well, because, you know, Tim Krul was off his line twice, and both twice those penalties should have got retaken. But you know what, I expect something from Norwich, because, you know, they're away from home, they're doing not too bad as well. So I mean, if they can draw to Leicester and Tottenham, I mean, anything can be possible in this one. We've got to make sure we give them a good game, and like I said, these are teams that we should be beating. And I mean, if we don't beat Norwich, there's going to be questions to be asked. I mean, that's why you just turn into the board thinking we need signs. Obviously we're really struggling in the midfield. I think with Norwich, we're just going to make sure we're on our A game. We've got to be mentally, physically on it. We've got to prepare well for this game. Norwich, they'll give us a good game, I reckon. I think we've got to try and outsmart them. We've got to be intelligent in our play. I think we just got to have a quick start, get on the front foot, create chances, put the chances away. We need the urgency and the fluidity in the game. We've got to make sure we can control and dominate the game against Norwich. We've got to try and give Norwich a hard time, because then if we can give Norwich a hard time, then they've got to chase down the game, and they've got to work themselves and getting them back into the game as well. Make sure we run our absolute socks off. Ollie needs to make sure he gets the right team selection, and if he doesn't get the right team selection, then God willing, I don't know what's going to happen with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, he's not far away of getting sacked. I think we've got to make sure we're on our A game, mentally, physically. Got to prepare well for this game. Norwich, they've got nothing to lose. Norwich, they've been all right in times, but 20th in the table, you don't really expect much from them. You know, they've conceded the most goals so far this season, 41 goals. So obviously their defence isn't the greatest at the moment, so they're really struggling defensively. And I think we just got to give them a hard time, and if we don't give them a hard time, I'm sure they'll just really outdo us. So I think it's going to be important for Ollie to get his right team selection. He's going to make sure he plays the players in the right positions. He needs depth in the squad, and he needs to make sure that he's selected the right team selection. And he needs the balance in the team, he needs the structure right in the team, he needs to select the right formation for the game as well. And obviously so far Norwich have lost 13 games so far this season, and that's the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, Burnley, Palace, Villa twice, us, Brighton, Watford, Southampton, Sheffield and Wolves. They've lost quite a lot of games so far this season. They have won against the likes of Newcastle, City and Everton. We just got to make sure we come out quick. We've got to stick to our game plan, our tactics, make sure we're mentally, physically switched on at all times. Norwich will give us a good game, I reckon. We've got to fight from minute 1 to minute 90, run our absolute socks off. We've got to prove that if we want the game more, we've got to go and chase down the game. And we've got to punish Norwich, and we have to punish Norwich. And these are teams that we've got to win. If we don't beat Norwich, then, I don't know, we're going to suffer. The last time we beat Norwich at home was on Sunday the 27th of April 2014, and we won 4-0, convincingly 4-0. The last time we lost to Norwich at home was on Saturday the 19th of December 2015 and we lost 2-1. The players to look out for is Tete, Babuena, McLean, Cantwell, Hernandez, Stepperman, Apamundu, Tribal, Vernich, Ida, Dumrick and Pookie. Got to make sure that Pookie's well. We've got to make sure either Lindelof or Maguire has Pookie in the pocket because he'll try and run the show for them as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed another video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you guys in the video in the next couple of days and peace.